Hey everyone, welcome back to the Sunny Side. I'm Sunny, and today we're going to review an astrology site that I came across. Just to let everyone know, there's we'll do a quick blah blah first, and then we'll get to it. For those who don't know, I am a professional astrologer. I write tons of horoscopes for you guys, and we have a really cool new astrology app out. It's called the SunnySide Astrology, and there's a link to that in the description box below. There are a couple of different horoscope widgets on there if you want to, for horoscope junkies who want to see their horoscope from a couple of different angles. There's some tarot stuff on here. There's some astro compatibility on here. Compatibility actually uses numerology if you're interested in that kind of stuff. And you can also get your chart done all for free done on the app. I'm looking that way because I'm babysitting today. I'll show you guys in a sec. Now, what happened was, here's a quick rundown on this. So, SLC got a 30-day trial to this website called Gaia, and Gaia, and I thought it looked pretty cool. What? I thought it looked pretty cool, so we just okay, calm down. So I went on it. It's it has some new agey stuff. I don't look at the, there's a lot of stuff. There's conspiracy stuff and there's some new agey stuff. And so naturally I'm looking at the astrology stuff and I came across this astrologer, like the astrology stuff. And I'd like to share that video with you today. Truthfully, I wasn't overly impressed with the first half of the video. Second half, he's kind of says, okay, whatever. But I thought the first half was so stupid, it's not even funny. But so just be careful where you get your information from in this world, right? There's a lot of blind leading the stupid out there, and I think this is a situation of something like that. Anything else that we need to know? I'm babysitting. This is baby, I'm babysitting. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. One sec. Baby, come on, go back. Chill out. Behave. Sit. Behave. Okay, let's see what we say about this thing. So this guy is Robert Phoenix. So this guy's Robert Phoenix. His website or his YouTube channel is the 11th House. And I found him on that Gaia website thing. So check this. Let's see what he says here about understanding astrology. Everybody cool? Here we go. Oh, I sped it up as well, because I don't know if I could watch this in real time.
Well, I think astrology probably comes from Atlantis.
All right, really straight up. Astrology comes from Atlantis. All right, my man. Next. I don't know what to say. I really can't, but how can the first thing out of your mouth be astrology came from Atlantis? I know, it's painful to watch this guy, isn't it? The first thing out of his mouth is painful. Even the dog is freaking out. All right. Go to mommy. Go play with mommy. All right, that was so bad. Dude, I don't know what this, my dog can't even watch you. Okay, next.
Iran and Babylon. And of course, Egypt with Ptolemy, he's the father of Western astrology. And that's where we have the template for astrology. I would say that ultimately it's probably off planet. Maybe it's from Syria.
All right.
That's my best guess.
Did you guys catch that? According to this guy, astrology came off planet. Can you imagine saying that in university? Can you imagine? Really? Can I have some proof of it? I don't want to knock your personal beliefs, but this is supposed to be educational. Now, as a YouTube, my 2 cents, we're only 44 seconds into the video. You pissed off my dog. We stopped it 3 times. And as a YouTube video, I think this is fine. I don't know that you should, if this is your personal belief that do you even know where babies come from? Seriously. Seriously. Astrology comes from Atlantis or off-world? Where does babies come from? Okay, anyways, okay, enough. Sonny, calm down. I can't, man. He's cramping my... Okay, guys, you're giving me a cramp in my astrology here. So, calm down. I can't believe you offended my dog. And so... All right. As a YouTube thing, I think this is okay. a guy can spread his personal belief on YouTube to some extent. Like he's not hating on anything. He's not, speaking derogatory in a derogatory way towards anything. He's just saying things that are completely unverifiable. And astrology, for those who don't really know, and to those who don't know, I teach astrology here online. It's extremely verifiable if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, then you don't know what you're doing. Okay, let's get back to it. 44 seconds of stupidness. Okay. Oh, but for a website like the Gaia website, for those guys to put a video forward, it's supposed to be a spiritually educational website, to put a video like this on that, I think that's irresponsible. I think the Gaia guys are completely irresponsible. If this guy wants to go on YouTube and talk stupidness, by all means, let him do it. But for someone else to willfully promoting stupidness, I think that's wrong. So, next.
I think the original intention of astrology was to have a sort of a syncretic system that allowed people to navigate both, on land and sea, but also their lives.
That's right. Astrology is to navigate on sea, to land and sea. I can't watch any more of this. It's only been a minute.
Kind of multi-dimensional navigational tool, and
that's right, multi-dimensional navigate tool. I wonder if this guy could. Next, just stop hating. Actually, I did watch a little bit more of this video, and the stuff he says about astrology, his technical knowledge of astrology is quite accurate. However, his personal belief system leaves a lot to. It actually doesn't leave much to the imagination. It comes from Planet Vibe. So, anyways, I'll say it again. His technical understanding of astrology is quite sound. It's very textbook, but the this other stuff, anyways.
Tool to live by with the inner life, and a tool to travel by with the outer life. A lot of times we tend to think that this is all out there, right? But it's all happening inside of us. There's no differentiation between the inner and the outer. So the map itself is really just an extraction of what's taking place on the inside. It's almost like, like in some shamanic cultures, they'll take an animal and they'll take the entrails out of the animal, right? And they'll throw it and they'll put it on a fire, or they'll throw it on the ground. They'll read the entrails. Well, astrology is kind of like that, but without the blood. We're reading sort of the psychic entrails of what's happening in time and space within the individual. So, it's theoretically not happening out there, but it's happening in here. We're using the map to get inside of the body, mind, spirit. People focus on their sun signs because that's what they know, and it's kind of a very superficial rendering of astrology. In most astrology columns, if you go to read, one of the famous astrologers, Sidney Omar, whatever,
Sonny Rosati. I used to write for the newspapers in Canada, and then I used to write horoscopes for years and years and years for the newspapers in Canada. Let's see what he says about guys like me.
Generally tend to look at the sun sign, and they put it on the rising angle of the chart, and then they look at everything else. So it's important to at least know your rising sign or ascendant. And then once you know your rising sign and ascendant, and then you know your sun sign, generally at that point people want to know more about astrology anyway. And then they find out, well, I'm really two signs. Well, you're more than two signs. You're a number of signs, and your number of signs through time. You're always changing through transits and progressions, and so it can get pretty complex. But I just think that most people have a cursory knowledge, and they say, well, I'm a Virgo, I'm a Gemini, and this is what I'm supposed to be like. And I find that most people are generally pretty curious and want to know more. There are 12 houses in the chart, and the house is a zone or a sector or a mansion. Some people call them mansions. And that house is determined by the ascendant at the time of birth. And planets are then splayed across the chart based on the degree that they're in, and then they show up in the various houses. And if a planet lives in a particular house, you begin to look at that house, and there's an emphasis in the individual's life with that planet, with that house. And then we look at angles coming out of that house.
All right, I get it.
So the house is like a...
I get it. Take one of my workshops. You'll understand it.
At the time of your birth. The anaretic degree, I happen to be born on September 22nd, which is the 29th degree of Virgo, and that's the 29th degree is an anaretic. It's called the anaretic degree, and it's the last degree of the sign, and that's when the energy of the sign is almost spent itself. It's like, it's almost done. And if you're born with an anaretic degree...
Okay, so what he's talking about here is what you guys call, or what I call as well, is the cusp. The 29th degree is the last degree before something moves to the next sign. So whether the house is on that degree, or whether a planet or the sun or the moon or a celestial orb that you're following or a node or something. Everything in the chart is mapped out in a degree, in time and space. You could say, like, if we were put it here, you'd say, you know, Aries, Taurus, and it moves across the sky. And so what he's talking about is stuff on the cusp. And if you watch one of my live streams, I talk about this all the time, because this question always comes up about cusps, and certain questions always arise, and this is one of them. We have applying aspects and separating aspects, and this degree here falls within an orb, or a series of a certain timing feature of your one energy or personality or a specific area of your chart. That energy is waning, and you know, you're leaving it behind less and less. It's lessening, and then you're moving more and more into the other energy. So if you're born right here between Taurus and Gemini, then and the degree is right here, you're less Taurus, more Gemini, more Gemini, more Gemini, until you're right about here, right in the middle, and then you're Gemini, 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 and as you move towards Cancer, you're less Gemini, more Cancer, less, more Cancer, no Gemini. And that's what he's talking about here. But they named a particular degree. Okay, nobody cares. Just want to listen to more of this guy. 3 minutes. I can make this for 3 minutes. You guys think I can hold my breath for the rest of this? I can hold my breath, but I don't think I can stop talking. I can hold my breath and talk out of my ass at the same time. This guy's doing it. No, shut up, Sonny. Just watch the guy. Like I said, he's technically sound, but he's a little...
You think you're almost done with the sign, you're over. It's like, I came into this lifetime, it's like, I'm over, I'm ready to move on, right? But unfortunately, what happens is that you have to really focus on that degree even more than, say, if it was at 12 degrees or 3 degrees. You have a lesson to finish with that degree and that sign. And until you really bear down and do it, you don't really get to graduate, I suppose, out of that sign or out of this lifetime. And the challenge with the 29th degree is that people tend to have lots of hard stops and starts in their lives, beginnings and endings, lots of endings. And one of the characteristics of the 29th degree is that people can get really ramped up with plans, and then at the last moment they can change their mind. That's also another not so great signifier of the 29th degree. So the lesson here is to stick to something, to work through something, and to finish something, whether it's that degree, that sign, that project, that relationship, whatever that thing is. It's essentially a sign to hang in there and complete. That's the 29th degree. We can see this kind of...
So right now, as we're shooting this video, and for the last couple of years, Pluto's been in the sign of Capricorn. Can you guys see Capricorn here? Pluto is in Capricorn. This Capricorn right here, the sea goat. Pluto is a generational planet, meaning that people of a certain generation share a similar kind of philosophy or view or this philosophical experience as they move through life. And for example, the Pluto in Libra generation, and there's a transformative effect here. The Pluto in Libra generation, they transformed how we'd see relationships. A lot of people and children in Pluto and Libra relationships were latchkey children, and they were, both parents worked, and so they grew up where, they'd have a key, they'd go home and, be by themselves. And then later on in life, these Pluto and Libra generations, they grew up, a lot of them got divorced. A lot of these people, they went on to, different types of relationships, and then transformed the concept of relationships. And then Pluto in Scorpio, as it moved to Pluto in Scorpio, then we had the situation of redefining sexuality. The Pluto in Scorpio generation gave rise to the concept of transgender. It started to become popular, and that generation that was born in Pluto and Scorpio, when they became teenagers, that's a generation that really started to use hormone replacement therapy to change their gender as they move through life. A lot of Pluto and Scorpio people, they have openly expressed their sexuality. A lot of them work in the sex trade. We saw the explosion of there's a lot of sex stuff. After that came the Pluto and Sagittarius people, and then the Pluto. Right now we're going through Pluto and Capricorn. You're not going to really see the effects of this generation until they start to mature, because they're still being born. Okay, unless you're watching this video in 15 years.
of ramping up, with Pluto and Capricorn. It starts off in 1516. We see the rise of the states of Europe. They're going around the world. They're colonizing, quote unquote, all these countries. And you have the rise to power of the aristocracy during that time. We're getting all these resources, spices, gold, silver, you name it. They're plundering. They're bringing it back to Western Europe. And what we're seeing now in this version of Pluto and Capricorn,
the restructuring
is
of political boundaries as well.
That first wave in 1516, it's all part of this kind of ongoing narrative. Now, in 1776, there's a break in that, of course, because the United States decides to take a left turn from Great Britain, although there are some people who will argue the fact that the British really won the war. They could.
So it's not about who won or lost, it's that there's a restructuring. Pluto restructures. And in Capricorn, he's talking about the last time it happened. And there's a restructuring of political boundaries, and there's a restructuring of top-down control. So at the same time, the church ruled a lot of Europe, or the church had a very strong influence in Europe at the time, and when the Pluto, people were breaking away from the control, and we're going through the same thing right now. If you look around in society, you'll see a political restructuring, or the top-down. We're in a top-down kind of, it's not really empirical, but it's imperial, but it's pseudo-imperial kind of. It's imperial structure with different names, but you're seeing this style of control being restructured. The people at the top are being shuffled around, and what they represent, what they control, is getting shifted around right now. You'll see more of this in the next couple of years. Whatever, man. I got 2.5 minutes to go.
Seeded the warp, and there's all these documents and straw men and all the individual is an asset of the Bank of London, the City of London. So they'll tell you that the victory was a sham. But whether it's a sham or not, we can certainly see that there was a battle fought, there was a conflict.
Next.
Pluto and Capricorn, and we're sort of staring down what seems to be sort of the synthesis of what happened during the early 1500s and during the 1770s.
Oh, we did it! Oh, I made it! Go, Sonny! I made it! Okay, I cheated. I fast forward the video a little bit at the end. I couldn't listen to it anymore. So I don't know. This guy has some technical. He has somewhat technical merits. He doesn't seem to understand the concept of applying aspects and separating aspects. He seems to believe in a very finite experience towards life, a very finite experience towards personalities, meaning when he talked about the 29th degree, he said, you do this, you do this, you do this, you gotta do this, you do this. Sometimes there are no lessons in life. Sometimes you might want to just win. Winning is a good thing. People who talk about life's lessons, or they say, at least you learn something, we don't deal, on the sunny side, we don't deal in at least. We believe in success. We believe in being a beautiful day. Anyways, this guy really grouched me out, man. I thought some of the stuff he said was some of the stupidest things I've seen in a long, long time, or I've heard in a long, long time. And but like I said, if he does it on YouTube, on YouTube you can do whatever the donkey you want. But on, I think that that platform, Gaia, I think that's irresponsible. That's the deal. Anyways, I'm not hating anybody. If I go to an astrology convention and I meet this guy, I'll say, yo, playa, what's up? Congratulations on your success. And I'll sincerely mean it. Congratulations on your success. And maybe we'll talk about his belief structures, because that might be kind of fun to talk about. But sometimes when you're teaching people, you should keep your own beliefs stuck up your ass, if you know what I mean. Anyways, that's the action. From the SunnySide.net, I'm Sunny, reminding everybody that we live in a world of the blind leading the stupid right now. Watch out for false prophets. And if you're going to walk through shit, make sure you leave your shoes at the door. Eat your veggies. And anyways, be cool, everybody, and I'll catch you later.